Hi guys, welcome back and welcome to a fairly quick kind of one take final thoughts video on my buddy's Porsche 992 Turbo S. We've just got back from Scotland yesterday or the day before. We literally drove south coast, north coast via Wales, Lake District, over a bunch of mountains. In this, it's absolutely filthy dirty. I'll show you in a minute. I've got it for the next couple of days, and before it goes back to him, I thought I'd give you a quick walk round, quick driving impressions as well, take it for a quick blast, and then cry tomorrow when it goes back to him. Let's have a look. So here she is, 640 something horsepower, 3.8 twin turbo, four-wheel drive. That's mostly rear-wheel drive. It sends some power to the front if it needs it, which when it's -5 in Scotland. It does a fair bit, but just an absolute weapon. Honestly, I've never driven anything so competent, so compliant, and just racks up miles. So we did Scotland yesterday, the day before, literally did Loch Lomond back to the south coast, one stop for fuel and a snack, and I felt like I'd driven for about an hour. Honestly, it's brilliant. I'll show you some close-ups of some dirty bits. It's literally been streaked. This is like Scottish grit, dirt, salt, bit of mud. It's absolutely plastered. I'm just going to put the rear light on because I think that looks really cool. Oh, it just looks so badass with that rear light on. But yeah, look at the state of it. It is minging. I'm going to give it a little wash in a minute before it goes back. So yeah, start at the back. Rear spoiler, in normal mode it's down. Sport mode it goes up a little bit. Sports plus it goes all the way up. And there's like a little diffuser thing, not diffuser, front lip thing that comes down at the front, which looks pretty cool. Here's the brakes on the front, 10 piston. Gigantic brakes on the back as well. We've been on Goodyear Eagle F1s, which even though it was like there's summer tyres and it was like -7 at one point, it was yeah, they were absolutely good as gold, which just goes to show how good the systems are on the car. Zon Sport grills, a must for any car that you're actually going to use on the road, because they've kept all the debris out. There's no protection otherwise. And the radar cruise control camera, apparently the previous gen of the Porsche, the grills had a cutout, otherwise the camera wouldn't work, but somehow they've managed to make the grills and the camera still works, because people were moaning that obviously the grills weren't protecting the camera lens. Let's have a quick look in the front, because it is pretty gigantic. It's still got some lot of stuff in the bottom, but look at that amount of space in there, and it goes further down than that. They've got a bunch of sat navs and some GoPro stuff in there as well, but yeah, loads and loads of space. And obviously it is a 4-seater, although you can get 4 people in it. I did it last night, took the kids and the missus out for a quick run in it, and you've got to have the front seats forward quite a lot, but the back occupants were moaning a little bit. And you sit quite upright as well. My boy's head was touching the roof, so not ideal, but you can see at the moment the seats are quite a long way back. Loads and loads of space, super comfy seats as well, like a million weight adjustable seats. You've got like lumbar support up, down, back to front. That squeezes the lumbar bits on your back, that squeezes the lumbar bits on your leg. That's the this bit here in and out, and then that seat up and down, forwards and backwards, tilt the back up and down, tilt the front up and down. Loads and loads of options, super comfy as well. The other minor annoyance as well is when you leave it unlocked, let's say car meet, petrol station, whatever, eventually the door handles do suck themselves in, which is then a bit of a pig to get underneath it, especially if you've got a lot of gigantic fat fingers like I have. And then obviously once you shut the door, those handles stay out again, and when you unlock it they stay like this, but yeah, after about 20 seconds they suck themselves in, and it's a bit of a pig to get your hand underneath, but minor niggle. Maybe a tiny little design flaw. This is like some stones and rocks from Scotland. There's all like flying in there, but that looks super cool. Quick jump inside. Oh no, the lights are switched on. In fact, let's fire it up quick. Little twisty switch down there. Obviously, as long as the key's in range, just twist that and it fires it up. Yeah, really nice place to be. Heated seats, heated steering wheel button down there, sneaky. Cruise control, really easy. As a lot of people now have gone to buttons on the steering wheel, which then means you've got to look down, take your eyes off the road in order to activate the buttons. But this is forwards to set it at whatever speed you're doing, and then forwards and backwards is add on speed, take off speed, down is cancel, up is resume at whatever speed it was. Super easy to use. I don't know why people have gone away from that. I think it's a much easier system to use. And this little bit in the middle here, that tells you how close or far away you want the radar cruise control to be to the car in front. So randomly, that I think should be the closest, but that's actually the biggest gap, which is a bit weird. So if you want the full like BMW Audi tailgating mode, you've got to come all the way back to here. Got the nice paddles behind the wheel. These like rolly things and buttons on the steering wheel do different bits and pieces on the dash. One of the things that is a little bit annoying, every time you start the car up, the stop-start resets to being on all the time, and I think it kicks in a little bit early. When you're slowing down to a roundabout and you nearly come to a stop, it shuts the engine off immediately. So like within about 2 minutes you're annoyed of it already, and you have to turn it off every time you start the car. However, we found this button on the steering wheel, if you press and hold it, it then brings you up here, change button assignment, and then there's a whole bunch of options that you can change that button to. So we've changed it to do the stop start on and off, but you can turn all these other things off. What it'd be better if it was kind of like a BMW M1 like button, where you could change a whole bunch of settings and then save that to the button. But all you can make it do, if you see that, it's just doing the stop start on and off. Thankfully the sports exhaust, that's got its own separate button there, so that's quite handy. How much of the others I don't know what you want to do. Like Scoot, you've got a button for the chassis as well, so a lot of the buttons, some of the buttons are here, but yeah, certainly stop start on and off, and maybe into sports mode. Might be nice to have a bunch of settings saved. The cup holders was another one. So you've got a cup holder that side, and it used to be that there's a little panel down here and you have another one that folds out this side, but now it's in the middle, which doesn't often get in your way, but it would be nice to have it up on the dash so you kind of don't take your eyes off the road so much to look down at your cup holder. Also this one, where it's right next to where you get out, I may have caught me leg in it and fired the little clip thing off, but I'm gonna fix that. Really like the clock on the dash, that's really cool. And I said it in my other video, which will be out already, is that this side you can scroll through loads of stuff, and then you press this button on the steering wheel and then you can scroll through loads of bits on that side. But it'd be really handy to have all the options on both sides. You've only got a list of options for this side and a separate list of options for this side. All the information is coming into the display. Why can't you just have everything? Maybe because you're going to take too long to scroll through it all, I don't know. But what we really want is, let's go back to this side, we want tyre pressures and tyre temps here or there, one of the two, but also don't need G meter, sat nav, not that average stuff, all this stuff. So oil temperature, oil pressure, voltage, all that sort of stuff on like one of the sides as well. So it'd be nice to have all that information, but basically you can choose one or the other. The other thing that we're also a little bit annoyed about, the tyre pressure and tyre temperature. Now tyre pressure, pretty obvious. Tyre temperature is this tiny little bar down the side, and basically if you see no blue at all, they're stone cold. But once they get to about, not even a quarter, like an eighth of the way up there, that seems to be like running temperature. Now why can't they just give you the degrees for the tyres, or why can't you change between pressure and degrees? Like that's one of the things that's kind of our biggest bugbear, is that you can't really tell when the tyres come up to temperature. Like just give us the temperature. That tiny little blue bar literally gets like 2 mil higher than that when it's up to like full running temperature. That's quite frustrating. Anyway, that's enough rambling about the car. We've got a tank of fuel. Let's go and use some of it up. One thing there that I've just noticed from shunting around is when you put it in reverse, the mirrors dip, which always annoys me, because then you can't see, you can see the curb, which I've got it set to so I can see the curb anyway, and see up the road, but they dip too much, you can't see what you're about to reverse into. If you have the mirrors set on the right hand one, when you put it in reverse, they don't dip. But seemingly, every time I start the car, it goes back to the left-hand one, and I don't really know why. I know. Parking sensors are a bit spiky because it is absolutely caked. So for me, to drive, it's the ultimate tick every single box for speed, braking, steering feel, grip. We're going around corners at the speed limit in like -5. It just moves the power around and it just grips and goes. It does everything super well. My only gripe is it probably does it too well and with no drama. So if you want a bit more drama, GT3, something like that, rear wheel drive, you've got no turbos coming in at 2,000 revs to fire you up the road and get up to some pretty decent speeds pretty quickly. Like a GT3 does nothing for like 5,000 revs, and then you can bring it out to 9 and then you're getting going. But if you want to munch miles, like say if someone said, oh, I've forgotten my bag at John O'Groats, can you go out there and grab it? Absolutely no trouble at all. Literally just keep putting fuel in it and keep driving it. It just munches miles. And then when it gets to the twisty stuff, it also does that as well. It's super comfy. It does genuinely, it does everything apart from drama. So like now, I'll pull out of here. It's all nice and sedate. I'll go to like sporty mode, drop to 2 gears. And it's just it's a bit silly, really. I've taken a couple of people out in it the last couple of days, and they're just like, whoa, yeah, and it goes, it absolutely goes. Let's go back to like normal mode. So if you put it in sport mode, aka Jack Russell mode, it drops 2 gears and then it's ready for attack. My only gripe with it would, even if you're not touching the throttle or just tiny touching the throttle, it's still like 2 gears lower than where it should be. So if you're doing 60 miles an hour and you're not touching the throttle, it's still in 6th instead of 8th. So I don't know why it wouldn't change up. Obviously it's ready for attack. And then you go Sports Plus, which is the full yappy Chihuahua mode, and then it drops to 4th. And then it's really like ready to like go mad. But again, if you're not touching the throttle, so for example, Sport drops down to 5th, I'm doing 45 miles an hour. But if I'm just touching the throttle, it doesn't change up. It will literally just sit there ready for attack. Then I go Sports Plus. Now we're in 3rd. Spoiler extended, reduced ground clearance as well. It's like literally Mach 10, Defcon 5. But if I'm hardly touching the throttle, it just sit there in 3rd. But then if you grab, you can override it. Obviously you go to manual, override it. But if you grab the paddles, still in auto mode, it changes up to 6th. But when the manual bit goes away and it goes back to drive by itself, I haven't pressed the manual button. There's a manual button down here you can press normally. Apparently in Sports Plus it doesn't. Okay, every day's a school day. So if I go back to sport mode, there you go. So in Sports Plus, when you start grabbing the pedals, it doesn't go back to drive. In sports mode, it does. And again there, if I short change up to 7th, it won't let me go to 8th, I'm going too slowly. There you go. Oh, that took a long time. Maybe it does it, maybe it holds on to manual mode for longer in sport mode, I don't know. But as soon as it went back to drive, dropped 2 gears again, I've gone from 7th to 5th straight away. Which, I'd like it to be like separately customisable between the engine map and the gearbox map. In something like a BMW, you can have it in Sports Plus engine, but lazy mode in the gearbox, or comfort mode, whatever they call it in the gearbox. Then it doesn't need to be in like a high gear that it needs to be. So now I want to go back to normal to get the gears up, but I can turn the exhaust valves on to make it sound a bit better, but it doesn't do the pops and the crackles in normal mode, only in sports mode, even if the valves are open. But first world problems. If you want to, get to a roundabout, put it in sporty mode. Still on reasonably cold tires, got to be a bit careful. Did find yesterday I went into a roundabout and it dropped a couple of gears under engine braking, half locked up the rears and the back started to come round. So it's maybe a little bit too spiky. Pop, pop. Masses of headroom as well. Easy wear crash helmet in here, loads of room. Pan roof as well, always nice to have a pan roof. But it's quite darkly tinted, but it still lets loads of light in. It just feels really roomy in here. A couple of people that I've taken out in it last night said, oh, it feels like there's so much space in here. Which the car's not small, but it's not gigantic. Amazing steering feel as well, really nicely weighted. A couple of people said, I've watched a couple of videos on some people and they said, oh, the steering's a bit numb. I don't think it is at all. Brakes really good as well, not really spiky like a lot of like VW Audi brakes where you kind of half rest your foot on it and you're through the windscreen. Real nice. You got, if you want some brakes, you got to lean on the brakes a bit. Another thing, the pull from the turbo is immense, but lowering the revs, there is a decent bit of turbo lag. So if you just floor it, it tends to drop a couple of gears anyway. But if you have it in manual, so that it doesn't drop the gears, like now it's gone up to 8th in normal mode at 50 miles an hour. It's so quiet. Look at that view. Sorry, distracted. But once the turbos come on song and it starts to pull, it will pull the same at 2,000 revs, 4,000 revs, 6,000 revs. Once the turbos are going, it just pulls like an absolute train. So with like a naturally aspirated car like GT4, GT3, it doesn't do anything till 5 grand, but then a bit like kind of VTEC, it then will just like bring it out to 9,000 revs. The red line on this is 7, but you don't really need anything more than about 4 or 5. It pulls like an absolute train. We were running it in for the first bit of the journey and we were still pulling out and overtaking effortlessly up to 4,000 revs. Obviously it doesn't sound as good, and if you want to immediately get on, if you floored it at 2,000 revs, it would take a few seconds for the turbos to get going, but if you drop down to 4th, 5th and then floor it, you're going. There's also a button here which we haven't pressed yet, so in the middle of the drive mode button there's a button which maybe should be like bright red or something like that, and it basically gives you maximum attack everything for about 20 seconds. So I'll press it now. Help! You can press it again to cancel it. But yeah, it's suddenly like, whoa, here we go. So like now if I get on the throttle and then we're going, whereas down one more, down one more. Excuse the throat, I've had a cold for about a month and it will go away. Good grief. There's still a tiny delay, but it's not bad. And then when the turbos came in, the rear wheels tried to spin up. Oh, it's just ridiculous. Like now, I'll drop one. My days. Yeah, that's up a pretty steep hill, just absolutely effortless. Then you can also go back normal mode, valves off, radar cruise control, take your feet off everything. We're cruising. Great stereo as well, Burmeister, upgraded sound system. I'm sure it's got some sort of subwoofers or several in it because it's pumping. Mega tunes. Yeah, I'm on a pretty bumpy bit of road now. This has got the upgraded 10mm, slightly lowered suspension, which not only, in my opinion, makes it look a lot better, or makes it look how it should look. I've seen a couple that haven't got it on and they look a little bit too high, I think. It rides perfectly, and you can turn the mag ride on, or whatever they call it. PDCC, Porsche Dynamic something, I don't know, which then does make it stiffer, but again not too stiff. Don't know what lane you're going to be in, so we've got the inside, going round, you're going to have to stop there, Mr. Tractor. So yeah, like now we're in 7th doing 48 miles an hour, 5th in sport mode, 3rd in Sports Plus, and now, oh, still a little bit of a delay there. That was like 3,000 revs. If I go, will it go another gear? Yes. Whoa! Oh dear! Oh, that made my brain go funny. So yeah, that was really instant. So yeah, you get it up to like 5,000-6,000 revs, and just, whoa! I started doing launch control at 50 miles an hour. Good grief. It's just, but it's so confidence inspiring as well. Like with the 4-wheel drive system, it's mostly rear wheel drive, and with a tiny bit of power going to the front, and then as soon as it needs to, it starts moving the power around, and it just does it all, and you don't know it's going on. You just turn the steering wheel and just go around corners at silly speeds. Honestly, I absolutely love it. Other than the drama, now let me wind this back a bit, back to normal mode. Other than the drama, it's the best car I've ever driven. I know I said that about Aaron's GTR Pro last year, but it's the best car I've ever driven, other than the drama. I really like the drama of the GTR Pro because it looks a bit like flary, big wing and all that sort of stuff. My only criticism of this is it still looks like a Porsche, but it hasn't got the drama and the flair and maybe the scary factor about it, like something like a GT3. I still think I'd pick something like my buddy Tom's GT3 in that bright blue, big wing, rear wheel drive, but it won't be as quick as this, and it'll be harder than this on the road as well, and it'll be slower than this, and all round it would just be a worse car. But I think I'd still have it because you've got to work for getting the speed. This just piles on speed, and if you want to munch continents, it'll still be mega on track. It may munch through quite a bit of fuel and maybe tyres, I don't know. I think we are taking it on track later in the year. That would be awesome. But there you go. Anyway, I'm rambling already. Guys, like, subscribe. Honestly, click the subscribe button. It's free. Please do it. It doesn't mean anything to you, but it means a lot to me. Put a comment as well. If there's a question that I haven't covered in this video or my other video, I probably know the answer. But I've put it in a video. There's only so much you can put in a video. I've tried to get all the main bits out, but yeah, if you've got any other comments or questions, put them in the comments below. And massive thanks to my buddy Aaron, who messaged me and said, "You fancy a road trip after Christmas? Let's shoot up the long way up to Cheddar Gorge and go rack up some miles on the Turbo S." And I was like, "Yeah, count me in." So I've just had the best time in this car for the last week. I'm going to cry tomorrow a little bit when it goes back and get back into my MX-5 with literally a quarter of the power of this. I think it's actually less than a quarter of the power of this, which is depressing. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.